Growing up on reality TV made Rain Brown famous. Many people loved her bright personality and how strong she was. But being famous also brought harsh attention that showed the problems happening behind the scenes. In recent years, her life has been full of scary accusations, fights with her brothers and sisters, and court battles that have split her fans into different sides. Each new story in the news seems to bring more questions than answers. Is this just about a young woman trying to deal with the pressure of being famous? Or is there something deeper and more troubling going on? This is the sad and complicated story of Rain Brown. You see, Rain Brown has been one of the most well-known faces on Alaskan bush people for a long time. She was born on November 23, 2002 in Alaska, and she grew up as the youngest kid in the Brown family. Fans often call her the Bush Barbie, a nickname she liked because she loves pink and Barbie dolls. But her real name, Merry Christmas Catherine Raindrop Brown, has always been one of the most unusual names in the family. She was raised in Huna and on Chichef Island. Rain spent her childhood with her 5 older brothers and her sister Bird. Since the show started in 2014, viewers have watched her change from a child into a young woman. People admired her for being positive, warm, and having a close relationship with her family. Her happy attitude became a bright spot on the show, but behind the scenes, her relationships with some of her brothers and sisters have been much more complicated. One problem started with Noah's wife, Rain. Rain wasn't happy to find out her sister-in-law had the same name as her, and their fight eventually moved to social media. At one point, Noah posted a photo with his wife and wrote something that many people thought was meant to hurt his younger sister, making her look childish and sheltered compared to the hard parts of adult life. But things got even worse in 2024. On August 5th, Noah and Rain asked the court for a restraining order against Rain, saying she was harassing them, following them around, and even making violent threats. Court papers said that Rain had threatened violence and talked about guns, which made Noah and his wife say they were emotionally upset. They asked that Rain not be allowed to contact them, stay at least 1,000 feet away from their family, home, and children's school, and also give up her guns. The court filing included detailed stories of things that happened before. In one example, Noah talked about a time in July 2022 when he said, Rain told him her life would be easier if he were dead, and hinted that she had a gun in her room. Another story was about a tense moment in May 2023, when Rain supposedly threatened to shoot a horse instead of taking Noah's advice, after it fell down during transport. Noah also said the fighting went back to 2016, when he first brought Rain to meet the family, and he said his sister made mean comments about him online in later years. The court request even talked about drug use, with Noah saying Rain used cocaine, meth, and alcohol. He also said that in December 2023, their mother Amy had been offered cocaine for a headache while visiting Rain. Even though the accusations were serious, the Washington court said no to the restraining order. The judge said the request didn't have enough details and had mistakes, including the wrong name written on the form. The court also said some of the accusations were too old to take immediate action. The final decision made it clear that sending in the request again wouldn't have changed anything. According to reports, Noah and Rain never tried to file again. Rain fought back on social media just a few days later. She didn't say anyone's name, but it was pretty clear who she was talking about. She brushed off the criticism and said she wasn't worried about what other people thought. Instead, she talked about the pressure of growing up in the spotlight and argued against the idea that she had to be perfect for fans. She reminded everyone that they had watched her grow from a little girl into a strong woman, and she wasn't going to keep pretending to be someone she wasn't. But just as things started to calm down, another problem was already starting. In March 2025, Rain Brown found herself in the middle of controversy among Alaskan bush people fans. This time, people were focused on her using drugs. It wasn't the first time this topic had come up. She had been criticized before for smoking weed, but as she continued to share her life on social media, the argument came back and quickly got heated. Some fans rushed to defend her, wondering why it had become such a big problem. They pointed out that Rain is 21 years old, legally allowed to use marijuana, and shouldn't be called a druggie for it. Others agreed, arguing that people making harsh judgments didn't even know her personally. Still, the negative comments kept coming. Critics said Rain was being irresponsible, unstable, or uneducated, saying they believed weed was only making things worse for her. Many of them seemed to have trouble with the difference between the young girl they once watched grow up on television and the adult woman she is today. At the same time, some fans tried to take a more balanced view. They thought Rain might just be experimenting, like plenty of young adults do at her age. To them, her choices might not be for everyone. but they were hardly the worst things she could have done. Still, nobody was ready for what came next. On April 5, 2025, Noah Brown got so worried about his family that he called the police and asked them to check on his mother, Amy, and his youngest sister, Rain. What made this situation even more explosive was the reason behind his call. Noah said they were using meth. According to court documents gotten by the U.S. Sun, Noah told police that his 61 mother had been staying on couches with Rain and her partner Josiah Lawton at a cabin in Liar's Cove. He said he had gotten a troubling message from Amy the night before and had been told she was drinking heavily and even using meth, which he believed Rain and Josiah had given her. He also said Amy was not taking her prescribed medication and that her health was getting worse. This was especially worrying, since just 2 months earlier, Amy had been in the hospital and diagnosed with pneumonia. The documents also said that Rain wasn't letting their mother take her medications, and that Josiah, who wasn't supposed to have guns, had firearms. Officers tried to reach Amy during the welfare check, but could only figure out that she might be with Rain and Josiah. Noah also told police that Amy often refused her medication, even saying she believed anyone trying to make her take it was the devil. He warned officers that Josiah was always armed and also mentioned that Amy had taken a pistol from him, though he didn't want to report it stolen. He just wanted law enforcement to be careful when approaching her. During the welfare check, officers talked with a man who had met Rain and Josiah at a job site. According to the man, he let the couple stay at his home because it looked like they were living out of their car. He remembered noticing that they carried a large diaper bag filled with pills. Not long after, Rain fired back at her brother in an angry TikTok video. She was furious about the accusations, calling them lies and saying that neither she nor Josiah were using drugs or doing crimes. She fought back hard against Noah's claims from April that they were giving Amy meth or keeping her from her medication. Rain expressed her frustration about the constant judgment she said she faces, insisting she and her husband are not bad people. She angrily denied that their mother was using drugs and said Noah's stories about them running around and causing trouble were completely false. Rain then turned things around, saying that Noah's accusations were really about him trying to destroy her credibility because she knows something about him that he doesn't want exposed. She hinted that she has damaging information about him and believes that's why he continues to make accusations against her and Josiah. Her video ended with both gratitude and defiance. She thanked the fans who stayed with her through all the drama and had some sharp words for the haters who kept adding fuel to the fire. But just a few days later, everything came crashing down for Rain. On April 11, 2025, Rain Brown and her husband, Josiah Lawton, found themselves in serious trouble in Okanagan, Washington. Booking records showed they were both arrested on major charges, first-degree burglary and first-degree malicious mischief. Rain was also given an extra charge, second-degree criminal trespass. Court documents showed the case came from accusations made by Josiah's uncle, Jason Aist. On March 27th, Jason reported that Rain and Josiah had broken into his rental property in Waconda, Washington, and taken valuable things. The list of items supposedly stolen was shocking: $75,000 in cash, $85,000 worth of gold coins, $8,000 in wine and champagne, several guns, including 2 pistols and a revolver, and even a marijuana bong valued at $250. Jason also said there was about $5,000 worth of damage to the property, including broken glass and a ruined generator. What made the situation even more pointed was Jason's statement that Josiah had been the only person who knew where these valuable things were hidden. During his divorce, Jason said Josiah had helped him hide the items at the cabin, and he now suspected Josiah returned with Rain to steal them. He said that while he didn't trust Rain, he doubted she would have known about the valuable things unless Josiah had told her. Investigators supported parts of Jason's claims with stories from neighbors. One neighbor reportedly had video footage showing Rain and Josiah on the property, while others said they had seen Josiah with guns that looked